These captivating creatures are unlike anything you've ever seen before, hiding in the shadows of remote locations around the globe. From vibrant colors to extraordinary patterns, they showcase nature's artistic mastery. Join us on this incredible journey as we unveil the secrets of these elusive reptiles. Here are some of the rare exotic reptiles you would be lucky to find in the wild. Red king cobra. The king cobra, one of the most venomous snakes on the planet, can literally stand up and look a full-grown person in the eye. When confronted, this most beautiful snake can lift up to a third of its body off the ground and still move forward to attack. Fortunately, king cobras are shy and will avoid humans whenever possible. It will also flare out its iconic hood and emit a hiss that sounds almost like a growling dog. This rarest snake can reach 18 feet in length, making them the longest of all venomous snakes. Their venom is not the most potent among venomous snakes, but the amount of neurotoxin they can deliver in a single bite, up to tenths of a fluid ounce, is enough to kill 20 people, or even an elephant. King cobra venom affects the respiratory centers in the brain, causing respiratory arrest and cardiac failure. King cobras live mainly in the rainforest and plains of India, southern China, and Southeast Asia, and their coloring can greatly vary from region to region. They are comfortable in a variety of habitats, including forests, bamboo thickets, mangrove swamps, high-altitude grasslands, and rivers. Legless lizard. The pink-tailed legless lizard is worm-like, with a dark brown head and nape, gradually merging with the pale gray or gray-brown body. The tail, nearly as long as the body, is pink or reddish-brown towards the tip. Its snout and tail are both rounded. There are no external ear openings. The broad, non-forked tongue, frequently used to wipe the eyes, presence of small hind limb flaps, distinguishes it from a Junkville snake. Specimens grow up to 25 centimeters in length. The pink-tailed legless lizard is only known from the central and southern tablelands and the southwestern slopes. There is a concentration of populations in the Canberra or Queen Bayan region. Other populations have been recorded near Cooma, Yass, Bathurst, Albury, and West Wyalong. This species is also found in the Australian Capital Territory. Commonly found beneath small, partially embedded rocks, and appeared to spend considerable time in burrows below these rocks. The burrows have been constructed by and are often still inhabited by small black ants and termites. Feeds on larvae and eggs of the ants in which shapes its burrows. Creepy snake. This utterly terrifying-looking creature is called the spider-tailed horned viper, and for good reason. The venomous snake, native to Iran, has a tail that looks like a spider, and is used as an eerie appendage as bait to lure in birds, devours. Thanks to the Animal Planet for bringing our attention to the snake's bizarre, unsettling, realistic spider tail. It so closely resembles a spider, in fact, that when scientists first spotted it in Iran in 1968, they initially assumed there was a soilfuge to a close relative of a spider clinging to its tail. Here shows a bird swooping down to eat what it believes to be a spider, only to be attacked by the well-camouflaged snake. Even though the first specimen from this species is discovered decades ago, a second one was only spotted in 2003. And in the intervening years, scientists were unsure whether it was an entirely new species or just an individual snake with a weird growth on its tail. Since, just a handful of other members of the species have been found. Armadillo lizard. This lizard is named after the armadillo because they curl up and bite their tails to protect themselves from predators. This defense mechanism allows them to spend most of their time basking in the South African sun. In the wild, armadillos are inactive lizards. This exotic animal range stretches 400 miles, from the Orange River in the Piketberg Mountains and inland to Matjefferfontein, a semi-desert region of South Africa. The scaly-spiked rarest reptiles are very sociable, hardy, and easy to take care for. This makes them a great pet lizard for beginners. Any owner is lucky to have one, as they are now illegal to export from South Africa. Armadillos have prominent spines that help protect them from predators in the wild. Their unique appearance makes them look like a tiny bearded dragon. When they see a predator, if they feel they need to protect themselves, they curl up into a ball and bite their tails. Researchers noted this behavior bears a striking resemblance to a frightened mammalian armadillo, so they named this lizard after the armadillo. These lizards also have unique social behaviors too. Unlike many independent lizards, armadillos prefer to live in groups. This even happens when there is enough shelter to house each lizard individually. Red and blue lizard. One has to wonder whether the lizard's spider senses are tingling, for the reptile bears more than a passing resemblance to the Marvel comic superhero Spider-Man. The lizard's amazing red and blue markings are strikingly similar to the suit worn by the crime-fighting, web-weaving Daredevil. And as the reptile was captured crawling around on his rock, he appeared to strike an identical pose to Spidey's favorite crouching pose. The lizard is a Muzwanan flathead agama, which is native to Africa and usually lives in groups with one dominant male, usually the most colorful. Rich Nunn from Nostalgia and Comics in Birmingham mentioned that the resemblance was uncanny. According to him, this is the only animal he has ever seen with coloring so unbelievably similar. It's especially like Spider-Man in the chest, arms, and legs. The colorful creature was captured on camera by photographer Cassio Lopes on a trip to the Masai Mara National Park in Kenya with his wife Alessandra. He mentioned, "It didn't take too much time for the little guy to vanish into the rock hatches after some clicks of his camera." Long-necked turtles. The eastern long-necked turtle, or snake-necked turtle, grows its shell to around 25 centimeters long and has a neck almost as long. The shell is red-brown or black on the upper shell and a creamy yellow lower shell. Dark brown markings along the shell are also very common. They also have incredibly strong jaws and webbed feet. They are very common in eastern Australia and live in bodies of slow-moving water like farm dams, rivers, and lakes. Long-necked turtles are extremely tough, sometimes living in some pretty unappealing places, such as polluted creeks and even sewage treatment plants. Like their distant relatives, the crocodiles, they can also survive horrific injuries and infections, such as a near-total loss of shell thanks to an unusual immune system. If you find a turtle on the road and want to rescue it, be careful how you pick it up. Armed with defensive scent glands above each leg, turtles can squirt a liquid with a stinking and persistent odor. The best way to pick them up by the shell and hold them well away from you so that the liquid doesn't touch you. Tiny leaf chameleon. Scientists have discovered a tiny new species of chameleon in a patch of rainforest in northern Madagascar. This so-called nano-chameleon is about the size of a sunflower seed, fits on the tip of a finger, and may be the smallest reptile on Earth. Finding such a small reptile raises interesting questions about the lower limits of body size in vertebrates. It also highlights the astonishing and highly threatened biodiversity of Madagascar. Scientists suspect the chameleon will soon be listed as critically endangered. Like other chameleons, this tiny reptile possesses a projectile tongue which it uses to nab prey. The creatures have found a successful niche in their native habitat, hunting by day on the rainforest floor and retreating to the safety of grass blades at night. So far, scientists have observed just 2 individuals, one female and one male, each of which was captured in 2012 on an expedition to a cluster of cool, rainy mountains known as the Sorata Massif. Unfortunately, the tiny chameleon's future is murky. The mountain forest where the lizards are found is already severely degraded. World's largest turtle. The leatherback is the largest reptile captured. It's so named because of its unique shell that is composed of a layer of thin, rubbery, tough skin that is strengthened by thousands of tiny bone plates that give it a leathery look. These most massive reptiles are the only turtles without a hard shell. The strange reptile weighs about 550 and 2,000 pounds and can grow up to 6 feet. Their head has a deeply notched upper jaw with 2 cusps. It has a large carapace and is elongated with flexible with 7 distinct ridges. Only hatchlings have scales on their carapace. In adults, their carapace is dark gray or black with white or pale spots. They also have a whitish to black plastron that is marked by 5 ridges. Meanwhile, hatchlings have white blotches on their carapace. You can spot leatherback sea turtles as far north as Canada and the northern Pacific Ocean. It was caught on tape on the Animal Channel. Albino alligator. In a rare event, 2 exotic albino alligators hatched in Kenansville, Florida. Instead of sharing the reptile species' dark gray-green skin, these American alligator hatchlings white and pink, with pale-colored eyes and claws. These unique reptiles are 2 of around 200 albino alligators in the world. Albinism occurs when a gene mutation is inherited from one or both parents. The condition can appear in plants, animals, and people. The hereditary mutation disrupts the production of the pigment melanin, which determines things like skin, fur, and eye color. These are the zoo's second set of these strange animals' albino hatchlings from 27-year-old mom Snowflake and 16-year-old dad Blizzard, who also share the condition. The new hatchlings were from a clutch of 18 eggs that the pair laid earlier in the summer of 2021. These rare exotic reptiles were once hunted to the precipice of extinction for their skin and meat, but protections have helped restore their population to marshes and slow-moving freshwater rivers from North Carolina through Texas. This most dangerous reptile has strong jaws and sharp teeth that help them drown and devour fish, frogs, turtles, invertebrates, and other small swamp-loving creatures. Thus, most unique albino alligators in the world are at a greater risk of being spotted by a predator and rarely live as long as their non-albino counterparts. Spiny bush viper. The spiny bush viper is one colorful reptile native to Africa. These rare snakes live in the Congo, Uganda, and Kenya. There are 3 subspecies of spiny bush viper that differ in color, size, and type of habitat where they can be found. Spiny bush vipers prefer rainforests that offer plenty of flowering bushes. These snakes are rarely seen in the wild because they inhabit regions that are distant from human settlements. For the same reason, the exact number of remaining spiny bush vipers in the wild is unknown. Spiny bush vipers are small snakes that can reach 18 to 23 inches in length. Females are larger than males. Spiny bush viper is an excellent climber. It easily reaches the upper part of the flowering bushy plants where it spends most of its day basking in the sun. Spiny bush viper is a nocturnal creature. Spiny bush vipers have broad heads and large eyes, large mouth, and slit-like nostrils that are positioned laterally. Snakebite may be fatal for humans because the antidote for this venom doesn't exist. Luckily, people rarely visit isolated and remote habitats of Central Africa where spiny bush vipers can be found. Mata-mata turtle. The mata-mata turtle originates from northern South Africa throughout the Amazon, including Venezuela, Brazil, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Bolivia. There are an aquatic species favoring slower-moving water sources such as streams, swamps, or marshes. They are a fascinating species with a character look. Their most prominent features are the triangular head-shaped snorkel nose and extension that apparently sleepy smile. They are efficient ambush predators, dining mainly on fish in the wild. The mata-mata turtle can be a big commitment as a pet, so it's essential that space is prepared for her sooner rather than later. Eventually, this species is likely to require more than just a tank, and an indoor pond is a more appropriate long-term. Always judge the size of the individual and ensure they are able to move around freely when designing the pond area. This species is fully aquatic, so a land area isn't necessary as they don't leave the water to bask. Despite being strictly aquatic, mata-matas aren't great swimmers and require a substrate to walk on, like a gravel mix, to give them traction. You can also use a variety of rocks, wood pieces, and foliage to provide good leverage for movement, as well as create a more natural setting. The mata-mata will hide amongst decor on the floor, but covered areas from surface foliage will also make your turtle feel more secure. Guatemalan beaded lizard. The Guatemalan beaded lizard lives only in an isolated pocket of desert in eastern Guatemala. Discovered by scientists in the mid-1980s, this distinctive lizard has been well known to local populations of Guatemala for millennia. This species is one of the 5 closely related species of venomous bearded lizards, including the Gila monster of the southwestern U.S. The venom is used entirely for self-defense and is not used in capturing prey. Beaded lizards get their name from the distinctive beaded appearance on their skin. Each scale, except for those on the belly, contains a tiny circular piece of bone called an osteoderm. The scientific name heloderm is Latin for studded skin in reference to this feature. The name Charles Borghetti indicates that the species was named in honor of 20th century herpetologist Dr. Charles Bogert, who made many of the first studies of the biology of bearded lizards. Beaded lizards have many remarkable adaptations for managing this contrasting lifestyle. Unlike most lizard species, they have a high aerobic capacity, and they are also able to stabilize their blood sugar levels during intense periods of gorging and prolonged periods of fast. Unlike venomous snakes, where venom is delivered via fang-shaped teeth on the upper jaw, beaded lizards have a few slightly enlarged teeth on the lower jaws that have the venom delivery grooves on their outer surfaces. Tuatara reptile. Have you ever heard of the tuatara? It's a reptile that decapitates birds with its saw-like jaws, lives to about 100 years old, and can remain active in near-freezing temperatures. It's also the sole survivor of a lineage as old as the first dinosaurs. May 2017 marks the 150 years since the tuatara was first recognized not to be a lizard. Most tuatara exists on wide-swept offshore New Zealand islands, where they spend their days in burrows or basking lazily in the sun. In the evening, they are more active and use their large eyes to spot a variety of prey such as beetles, spiders, and snails. They also occasionally eat lizards, frogs, baby tuatara, and birds. The headless bodies of birds are not infrequently reported from their island homes. Although capable of bursts of speed, tuatara has a reputation for slowness. They grow slowly, they reproduce slowly, and they live for a long time. The tuatara is often referred to as having a third eye because of a light-sensitive organ on the top of its head, similar to the ones found in many lizards. Tuatara is now threatened by climate change. This is because the sex of the tuatara is determined by the temperature of their eggs experience. Rising temperatures will skew populations toward males. Pinocchio lizard. The Pinocchio lizard was discovered in Ecuador in 1953. Sometime in the 1960s, researchers lost track of this amazing reptile. For decades, it was assumed to have gone extinct. But it was seen again in 2005 and a few times since then. And now, reptile and amphibian-focused ecotourism group Tropical Herping has managed to snag one and observe it for a whole day. This means we get to look at pictures of one of the weirdest lizards on the planet. This unique exotic reptile is native, we think, to a tiny area around one small road near the Ecuadorian town of Mindo. These rare species become an odd sort of white whale for researchers. The excellent Annal research blog teenly features stories about the creature. Mindo is a popular ecotourism venue in which tourists can see a relatively undisturbed rainforest, go ziplining, and tromp about in search of cool, weird animals and plants. In other words, Mindo is home to weird-looking, super rare reptiles, and also full of a lot of people who would be very interested to see such a lizard. Neonate emerald tree boa. This is a non-venomous boa species that is considered to be one of the most beautiful snakes in the world. They are known for their cryptic emerald coloration, which they get their name, and are often confused for the green tree python. Since their vision is weak, they have pits around their mouth to compensate for this discrepancy. The snake uses these pits to spot its prey's movement by using the body heat that the latter releases. Though this feature is common with many other boa species, the number of these infraradiation sensors present in the emerald boa is more in numbers compared to the other boa species. The snake can also use its tongue sensors to detect vibrations, which in turn help it to spot prey or protect itself from predators. Juvenile and neonates have also been known to feed on small lizards and frogs, particularly glass frog. The frilled dragon. A frilled lizard also goes by the names frilled dragon or frilled agama. It is known for raising its neck frill, or the extra flap of skin around its neck, in an effort to intimidate predators. These lizards live in northern Australia and New Guinea. Upon seeing the raised neck frill of this lizard, some people think it's venomous or that it spits poison at predators. In reality, this reptile is not venomous and has no poison to spit. It's sometimes called the bicycle lizard because of the way its hind legs move when it's running. These lizards are not poisonous. They can live up to 20 years. The lizard gets its name from the fold of the skin, also called a neck frill, that encircles its throat. Most of the time, this fold of skin lays flat like a superhero cape on the lizard's body. However, when this reptile is threatened by a predator, it raises its neck frill, opens its mouth, and hisses. This makes the lizard look larger in size and threatening. In short, the animal does this in an effort to frighten a predator. Its neck frill measures around 12 inches in diameter. While frilled lizards might look frightening, they're generally not dangerous and prefer to run away from threats rather than bite. Madagascar leaf-nosed snake. It is a medium-sized, highly cryptic arboreal species. It is endemic to Madagascar and found in deciduous dry forests and rainforests, often in vegetation 1.5 to 2 meters above the ground. Malagasy leaf-nosed snakes can grow up to 1 meter in length. There is considerable sexual dimorphism within the species, and males are dorsally brown and ventrally yellow with a long tapering snout, while the females are molded gray with a flattened leaf-shaped snout. The function of their appendage is unknown, but obviously also serves as camouflage. It is largely a sit-and-wait predator. It may show curious resting behavior, hanging straight down from a branch. Prey items include arboreal and terrestrial lizards. It also exhibits hooding while stalking prey. These hooding and swaying behaviors, among other cryptic color patterns, might allow Madagascar to mimic a vine swaying in the wind. Leaf-nosed snakes are oviparous, with clutch sizes ranging from 5 to 11 eggs. Malagasy leaf-nosed snakes are generally calm and reluctant to bite unless provoked. Envenomation by the snake causes severe pain in humans, but is not deadly. Fish-eating crocodiles. There may be a glimmer of hope with a critically endangered narwhal, a unique crocodile known for its long, narrow snout that ends in a bulbous growth resembling a cooking pot called a nara. The fish-eating crocodile was once widespread across the rivers of the northeastern part of India subcontinent, but now the narwhal is on the brink of extinction, thanks to the loss of degradation of its riverine habitat, depletion of fish stocks in rivers, and accidental drowning in fishing nets. In Nepal, the situation is grave. More than 100 mature adult narwhals are estimated to remain in the country, with only one population, the Chitwan National Park, known to be breeding until recently. Now researchers have recorded more than 100 narwhal babies in yet another site, in Bardia National Park in southwest Nepal. The last time narwhals were recorded breeding in Bardia was in 1982, when narwhal eggs were collected from the Babi River and taken to a captive facility. Since then, both adult male and female narwhals have been recorded in the Kanari and Babi rivers in Bardia, but never a nest with hatchlings. Spotting hatchlings don't necessarily translate to a better future for the narwhals, though. The animals continue to be threatened across their range in Nepal, but conservationists have been trying to work with local communities living around the protected areas to help protect the animals. Snake with leg. Imagine walking through Bürgermeister Müller Museum in Slohofen, Germany, when suddenly your jaw drops in disbelief. It was precisely the experience that David Martil from the University of Portsmouth as he stumbled upon a remarkable fossil specimen. It appeared to be a snake, but it was encased in an unusual rock with a distinct characteristic from the Brazilian Crato Formation, dating back to the early Cretaceous period. This discovery was groundbreaking because snake fossils had never been found in this location or from such an early time period in South America. It challenged the existing understanding of snake evolution. Previously, researchers had proposed that snakes once had 4 small legs, similar to other reptiles. However, over millions of years, these legs gradually disappeared. First, the front legs vanished, followed by the hind legs, giving rise to the modern snakes we know today. This extraordinary finding sheds new light on the complex and fascinating journey of snake evolution. Join us as we unravel the mysteries of this incredible discovery, exploring the unique combination of time, place, and adaptation that has shaped these legless wonders into the remarkable creatures they are today. Prepare to be amazed by the wonders of nature's evolutionary processes and the secrets that lie within the ancient rocks of Slohofen. Continuing our exploration of the remarkable world of snakes, we encounter a peculiar incident in southwest China. Dean Quishui, residing in this region, stumbled upon a snake unlike any other, crawling along the wall of her home. It possessed a partially developed claw extremity, a sight both intriguing and unsettling. This unusual sighting raises questions about the genetic possibilities of snakes. While skepticism is natural, scientific evidence shows that some snake skeletons bear vestigial structures, indicating the potential for limb development. Pollution and genetic mutations also play a role. This extraordinary find challenges our understanding of snake adaptations. Dean preserved the unique creature for study, allowing scientists at Nanchang's Life Sciences Department to unravel its secrets. While scientists will agree that this is a highly unusual case, they won't be able to prove or disprove anything until a thorough research is conducted. Chinese crocodile lizard. This lizard gets its name from the appearance of its tail, which has an enlarged pair of scales running most of its length, similar to the tail of a crocodile. It inhabits only one mountainous province in China, where it lives in and around clear pools of slow-moving shallow water. Chinese crocodile lizards can spend hours in the water and dive for up to 30 minutes. They also often spend a lot of time laying motionless on branches that stretch over the water, most likely as camouflage to warm up their bodies. Unlike most other exotic reptiles, crocodile lizards do not lay eggs but instead give birth to live young. 5 to 15 young are born at once, each measuring 10 to 15 centimeters long. Which one did you find the strangest reptile? Have you ever witnessed any of these reptiles in real life? Let us know in the comment below. Like always, if you enjoyed it, be sure to give us a big thumbs up and leave us some love in the comment section. To keep up to date with all of our awesome videos, be sure to hit subscribe and turn your notifications on to never miss a thing. Until next time, do take care of yourself.